Alright, what's going on, guys? It is Benny, and today I'm going to be showing you guys the top 5 best mortar decks and teaching you guys how to play them. And for our first matchup, we are up against freaking Graveyard, which is just gross. That is the worst matchup that I could possibly ever think of wanting to play against, because it's just so much work to get a win against these guys. But for our first deck, we're using a deck that is absolutely crazy, and I have to say that there are some wild decks in this, especially with Vine coming into the meta now. But for this first deck, I got a top 1000 finish with this deck, and I did qualify for CRL. I actually think that I was the highest ranked player that was using this deck last season, so I'm a little bit biased, but this is definitely my favorite mortar deck, or at least was last season. You get a ton of value out of a lot of really underrated cards like Berserker, and you can really punish your opponents and kind of, like, you have a very quick cycle, and so you can keep your opponents on their toes. Like you're going to see here, got the Mortar lock because this guy was just a little bit too aggressive with how he tried to defend there, and so we're going to get some great damage out of that. Now, that being said, we have a pretty wild defense here. I'm going to let the Ice Wizard lock onto the Berserker, and then I'm just going to get the minions right here, and then we will have to Barbell. I let the Baby Dragon lock on just because if he hit me with a Tornado there and stopped my minions from taking that out, we would have been in a lot of trouble. So sometimes it's a little bit better to just take a tiny bit of damage and make the safe play. And then I'm going to go for a Skeleton Barrel here. And the biggest thing whenever you're playing against Graveyard that I always try to remember is you have to change lanes, especially because he played his Knight in the back there. He doesn't have a great way to tank my Mortar, and so he'll have to play the poison there. But every time I'm playing against Graveyard, I'm changing lanes up all the time so that he can't get a lot of value out of his poison, and he can't just plug up one lane and stop me from being able to get any damage and just constantly counter pushing. And so we'll get the Skeleton King right here, and then I'm just going to chill out for a second. We'll wait and see what we want to do. I think, honestly, even though I know this guy has Graveyard, I'm going to use my poison on that Goblin Hut, and then I'm actually going to go for my Evil Skeleton Barrel now that we have that down. That's going to force him to play his Ice Wizard probably. Actually, okay, we're going to take that tower because he's going to just try to take this side. So we'll play the minions here, and then that was a crazy tornado, and he also activated our King Tower. So I think that's going to be a win for us. Let's just go ahead and play the Mortar right here and make sure. Definitely going to be a win, so let's give him a good game, and let's just go on into the next deck. Alright, you guys, for our next deck, we are using something kind of crazy. I'm going to be honest with you guys. We are going to be using the very similar deck to what we were playing last time, but we're using Vine with it, and we also have Goblin Gang, and this is just, it's crazy, man, because Vine is absolutely absurd. I missed a little bit of the start of this season just because I was traveling and I was helping my sister move into a house that she just bought, so I missed a tiny bit of the start of the season here, so I don't have a ton of experience using Vine. But I do know that it's freaking annoying and crazy, and we are up against Sparky, so that Vine is going to come in clutch for us. Now, I've got the Skeleton Barrel there on the tower, so we will get a little bit of damage there, and then I might as well play my Goblin Gang here just because he's zapped and see what we can get him to play. And then he's going to Rage again, so now I do need to be careful just because I went for 2 plays that gave him 1 elixir positive there, so we just have to be aware of that. And he's going to go for the Goblin Giant, so I'm going to defensive Mortar, and I'm going to do it up high just in case he has any spells or anything. And if I do it up high, then we have a better chance of hitting the Sparky when he goes to play it. And then I'm actually going to play my Ice Wizard here because I find that Sparky sometimes locks onto the tower if I play it to the left, so it's just kind of playing it safe. We can go for our Skeleton King right here, give our Ice Wizard some great value on everything there, as well as our minions. And then, thank goodness he does not have Curse. I am so tired of seeing that, and I'm so glad that Curse had some balance changes because, man, last season was just annoying. And then we're going to get some great damage out of the minions there, plus the Skeleton Barrel, so we will get something. And then, I think I'm going to Goblin Gang here, actually, just because then I have the Spear Goblins on the counter push, and he has to make a decision as to whether he takes that chip damage or he counters it. And if he counters it, that's going to work out better for us. I'm going to go for the Evil Mortar here, and I'm going to predict a Sparky. It's a little bit risky, but we did catch the Sparky, so the Evil Mortar plus the Berserker should get some great damage on that. And then let's just wait and see. Come on, please take that out. Oh, that would have been perfect if we were able to get a shot off on the tower, but that's okay. We still managed to get his Sparky down, and we don't have to deal with it. And then I'm going to Skeleton King in the back here. He's going to go for the Goblin Giant, so I'm going to go for my Evil Skeleton Barrel here, and let's get some minions down as well. And then let's just get the defensive Mortar down here, and we have the Skeleton King kind of charging up his ability, so we could actually use that defensively. So I think I'm going to do that just to stop the Mini P.E.K.K.A. from getting on my tower right away, and to stop it from getting on the Skeleton King. And let's just pull that Dark Prince right into the middle using our Goblin Gang, and that will be no problem whatsoever. And then I'll go for a Skeleton Barrel on this side right here. He did a pretty bad Sparky there, if I'm being honest, because we already have a defensive Mortar down. So I'll go for the Mortar into the opposite lane, plus the Skeleton Barrel there will get some damage onto the Sparky, and we do have our Vines still, so I think I'm going to go ahead And let's actually Vine right now on this, all of this here, and stop all of that. Holy crap, that is so broken, guys. Oh my gosh. Okay, now let's go ahead and get the Skeleton King right here. We're going to defend that push absolutely crazy, and then let's just go for the Evil Mortar on the counter push. And I think this guy's going to be hard pressed to be able to defend this as he plays the Sparky, but I think he's late. It was too much elixir for him, and we are going to get the win. So let's give him a good game, give him a good luck, and let's go on into the next match. Alright guys, for our next deck, I feel like a bad person a little bit here because we're using Boss Bandit with Vine, which is really disrespect. Oh my gosh, that is crazy. But we're running Boss Bandit with Vine, and we're using Princess Tower just because, you know, Princess Tower versus Cannoneer has been a very difficult question. I might as well just use my arrows here. I don't know what I've been thinking. I don't know why I wasn't using my arrows on those minions, but we will defend that. Now we are down in elixir. We have Evil Wizard and we have Boss Bandit, and I find that that does help a lot with the spam meta that is going to be in the meta right now, just because Vine is obviously so incredibly crazy. But that being said, I think that we just kind of need to be a little bit smarter because it's a more of an expensive deck. The last two decks were a little bit more cheap, and so, you know, this is going to help people that like expensive decks, especially if you are really good at pressuring people with your spells, because the Boss Bandit is great at that. Now I'm going to go ahead and, ooh, do I want to use my vines here? Actually, I don't think I do. Oh my gosh, that was a really weird freeze, and I don't really know why he did that, because I can Mortar on the opposite lane here. We're obviously not going to take the tower or anything, but he is going to have to pick a side to defend here. And then let's go ahead, let's pop the Boss Bandit ability again to get some more damage there onto the tower. And then I will play my minions right here to help take out his minions, and then you know, we might have to eat some damage here, but I'm actually okay with that, considering the fact that we got a ton of damage on that right side. If I used my arrows, I'd be a little bit worried that that was too much elixir to spend. So, you know, I'm not feeling terrible right now with this, you know, situation that we have got ourselves in. Let's play the Mortar, or the Bar Barrel here, sorry, and just to cycle and see if we can force him to play something. And then, I'm going to start my Wizard in the back here, just because he's going to play that Valkyrie for a bit of a slow walk up, and then we can get a Mortar down in a second here. Maybe I'll wait. I won't play anything else. I'll just let that Wizard counter the Valkyrie, keep the elixir, and then I will go ahead and play the Mortar right now. And then let's go ahead, let's play our Boss Bandit in front of this, and I will use my Vines in a second here. Okay, I'm going to use my Vines on the Lumberjack just to slow that down, to stop it from getting anything on the Boss Bandit, and then that should pull the Lumberjack away from the Rage. Actually, okay, it won't, because he played the minions, but we did get some great damage there, so I'm very happy with that. And we'll just start the Wizard in the back again, because that's going to be our really great support card. And then, oh my gosh, I don't know why I played the offensive Mortar there. That was actually a really big mistake. Okay, let's go ahead, let's play the Boss Bandit here. I may have messed up. Oh my gosh, that is crazy. Let's get the Vines down on those 3 Musketeers to get some damage, and then we can Bar Barrel, plus the Mortar shot. Oh my gosh, that is crazy. That just got completely obliterated, and there's no way that this guy is going to be able to really do much here. We'll pop the Boss Bandit ability to get some value out of that ability, and then I'll play my guards right here just to kind of pull everything, and then we might as well just play our Vines here again to let the Wizard just completely obliterate that push. And then I'm not going to play anything else because, you know, we got some pretty good damage on the tower there. Oh my gosh, this guy's getting to golems quicker than I can get to mortars, which is absolutely crazy. Let's go ahead, we'll play the minions there. I'm going to have my arrows ready for his minion horde. He's going to just play the arrows instead, so I'm going to play my guards plus the wizard, and then I have my vines at the ready in case we need to. But I think the guards should do a pretty good job of taking all of that out. We'll play the boss bandit right here, and then let's wait and see if he pops anything. Let's go ahead and pop the boss bandit ability now that the guards are there to help us out, and the boss bandit ability got it away from the freeze, which is amazing. I'm gonna pop the boss bandit ability there just literally for the sake of doing it and see if we can get anything out of that. And then I want to get my evil wizard in front of the mortar here because that will push anything back, and we have the evil mortar lock, so that is going to be a win. So let's give him a good game, let's give him a good luck, and let's go on into the next deck. Alright guys, for our next deck we are using something that I think a lot of you guys are familiar with, and I wanted to use this especially because I feel like evil mortar is always the card that I'm using, always the evil that I'm using, so I wanted to change it up a little bit and use classic mortar with no evil mortar. So we have evil ice spirit and evil valkyrie, and that just lets us defend a little bit better. Now we're up against hog EQ I think here, which I'm okay with because that's a bit of a tougher matchup, or it's either hog EQ or hog 2.6. I think it's EQ because he's using Tesla. Let's go ahead, let's play a mortar here, let's see what he does to respond to that, especially because he played the Tesla far back, so he might have trouble defending. Oh my gosh, I don't even know what this is. I was going to say if it's hog EQ, then what you want to do is you want to kind of rely a little bit more on defending and using your rockets to get damage. Then you, oh my gosh, this is crazy guys. let's just Valkyrie right here on top of that as we voice cracked there. And then I think that should be enough with the skeletons plus the Valkyrie, but let's just wait and see. I can't even see the Valkyrie's HP, so I really do hope that it's still alive. And then let's go for a King Tower activation. We just tornado right here, and we will get the King Tower activated. So I'm glad that I did not mess that up. And we can go for another Mortar because he's playing really aggressive there. So, you know, we can maybe get something out of that. I'll use my Evil Eye Spirit there just to take out the Firecracker to get that Mortar lock. And we want to try to capitalize on our damage from the Mortar every chance we get, because the biggest thing with this deck is if you get damage, you are going to win. If you, you know, where you run into trouble is often where, I guess actually there's two sides to the coin, because if you're having trouble defending, you're going to get cooked, and you need to kind of have perfect defense, but you also want to get any damage that you can. It's going to come down to chip damage, so every little bit of damage you get, you want to try to capitalize on. He's going to play the Tesla at the bridge there. I don't really know why he did that, because he'd be better off playing the Mega Knight on my Valkyrie, especially because okay, so he's going to play the Mega Knight on the Valkyrie. Let's go ahead, let's just play a defensive Mortar right here in the middle. Oh my gosh, is that going to jump onto the Ice Wizard? Let's please pull that towards the Mortar. Thank you very much. And then that is going to just get absolutely shredded. And then I think I'm going to cycle my log here first. Actually, I don't think I'm going to use my Valkyrie quite yet. Let's go ahead. Let's get another Ice Wizard down. Did he just... Did this guy... Am I crazy, or did he just mirror his freaking Mega Knights? Let's try to tornado all of this back towards the tower. At least we will get one more shot. We were not able to tornado it far enough back, but that's okay, because we can just go ahead and log, get rid of that wizard there. And then I have my Evil Valk, so that will help us kind of counter all of this right here. Let's tornado all of this together as well, just to make sure that Ice Wizard stays alive a little bit longer. Then I will Evil Ice Spirit as well. Let's go ahead, let's get a Mortar, because we will get rid of that Tesla, and then we won't get a Mortar lock right away, but the Mega Knight will come in. Let's get the Valkyrie down, and we will keep the Mortar locked onto the tower now, and the Mega Knight off of the Mortar. And then let's tornado all of this together actually for the Ice Wizard and the log value there, so I can just log. Then we just have to get enough for a rocket. Let's give him a good game. He's not happy about that. We'll give him a good luck as well, and let's go on into the next deck. Alright guys, last matchup of the video, and this is something I would honestly say is a little bit more toxic of a Mortar deck. Not because you are toxic for playing it, but I think it's going to make people very angry, because we've got Goblinstein, we've got Vines, and we got Mother Witch. So let's go ahead and get a nice win here. We're going to Mother Witch right on these minions, and whenever we see our opponent have Chef, the first thing we need to think of is, oh my gosh, is this going to be frickin' Goblin Giant? And when we see the Goblin Machine, we think, okay, I don't like you as a person, I don't like you as a Clash Royale player, because that is just disrespectful. So let's go ahead and play the can. I'm just joking, by the way. You know what? We have to give love to everybody, and we can't be spreading that negativity. So we'll play the Mortar there. The Mortar took a lot of damage there, which I'm actually okay with, because we forced him to play the Goblin Giant a lot quicker, and that's kind of the goal sometimes with our Mortar. Is it's less about getting damage, and it's more about keeping our opponent on their toes. And then the minions are going to shred through that entire push. I'll let the Fisherman lock onto the tower, because then I'm going to go for the Goblinstein at the bridge here, and let's actually go for a skeleton barrel as well. And then, oh my gosh, there's the P.E.K.K.A. So we will get the Goblinstein on the tower and get some good damage out of it, but the P.E.K.K.A. will defend pretty well there. Now let me think, what do we want to do? I think we can get away with just playing our guards right here in towards the middle, and then I'll play my Mother Witch right here to help out with those minions, and that should help us kind of distract a little bit, but we actually may have made a bit of a mistake here. Let's go ahead, let's get our Vines down on that P.E.K.K.A. and just bail us out there. So we are going to defend that. Ooh, my gosh, that was close. Vines are crazy, guys. I'm so glad I'm a Mortar player who will not be affected by Vines that much, because Vines are absurdly broken. They are just crazy. Now, let me think. Let's go for the cannon card here, I guess, just to take out that Goblin Machine. And then we might as well go for the Mortar with the counter push, because we do have a cannon card there to kind of back it up with everything. And then he's going to Goblin Giant, so I'm actually going to play my Evil Skeleton Barrel there, and then that will force him to either use one of his spells or he'll use his curse on it. And if he uses his curse, then we can defend quite easily here. He's going to go with the Rage instead. I don't really know about that, so we're going to keep the Mortar locked. He's going to play the Evil P.E.K.K.A. in the back now. Okay, what do I want to do? I think I'm actually going to Goblinstein into that, because the Fisherman should pull it, and then we should get a lot of value out of that Goblinstein ability in a second here. We'll let the minions do their thing. Let's go ahead, let's pop the Goblinstein ability now, so that we can kind of take out the goblins that will spawn as well. And we can play the guards right here to help out. He said, wow, he did not like that. And then we can go for the evil mortar now. He will not have enough to kite this right away, so if the mortar can be quick, then we might be able to get it down before he gets something heavy down. It looks like we did. So we have the mortar lock, and I can play the skeleton barrel here. He's going to hit me with the vines. No big deal there. And then let's just play the guards here to keep that alive, and that is going to be a win. So let's give him a good game, and let's give him a good luck in the future. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I really appreciate it, and I cannot wait to see you guys in the next one.